Hey everybody, Mike Seifert, Biz Talk with Mike. Today we're going to talk about how to obtain and develop business credit. Now, there's a few steps that are very important to develop business credit. We're first going to talk about the steps, but we're not going to go into details in regards to differences between LLCs and corporations and things of that nature. And I'll explain what I'm talking about in a second. So how do we develop business credit? Number one, you're going to have to either organize an LLC or incorporate a C corporation. And there's many differences. A corporation or an LLC, basically what it does is separates you personally from your business. However, an LLC, for tax purposes, it's a flow-through taxation vehicle, which means that the LLC still goes on your personal credit report if you own the LLC directly. And a C corporation has shares, and that's incorporated. And usually that is, those are shares, and you're separated totally from the C corporation. So let's just talk about the LLC, because that's usually what people start out with before they start getting into shares and all that stuff. So for purposes of developing credit, number one, you have to organize some type of entity. An LLC, limited liability company, you're going to organize that, meaning that you're going to file the proper paperwork with your state. You're going to go ahead and open that. You're going to open a checking account, a business checking account, because that's what you have to do. You need to treat an LLC like a real company. And if you don't, things can happen, such as piercing the corporate veil, meaning that a limited liability just gives you protection. It doesn't do anything else. It just gives you protection from your personal assets. So if you own $1 million home free and clear, and you open up an LLC, and you do everything correctly, and you do business under the LLC, and you get sued, this LLC gets sued, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to lose your $1 million home unless you or that person suing you breaks the corporate veil or pierces the corporate veil. And again, that's another topic, another video going through that. So anyways, you're going to open up an LLC. You're going to organize it with the state that you're in. You're going to open up a bank account. You're also going to get a tax ID number. How do you get a tax ID number? You're going to go to the IRS's website, irs.gov. You're going to apply for what is known as a tax ID number, or an EIN, Employer Identification Number. You must have an EIN. This is like the Social Security number of your business. This separates you from your business. It all breaks down to tax ID numbers and Social Security numbers. What you use your Social Security number for versus what you use your tax ID number for with a company. It's going to make a big difference when you're applying for credit. So you have these steps. Now you have a bank account, you have the proper paperwork organized, you have a tax ID number. Now you're pretty much set to start developing business credit. There's two ways of going about business credit. You can go the fast track, which is you run your personal credit. If you have good credit, you want to have good personal credit eventually. You have to have strong personal credit to really build up a business and really get big lines of credit through, that means. But if you don't have any credit at all, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to develop business credit. And don't let the gurus out there, the people that are trying to sell you credit products and all this crap, I'm telling you right now, it's not that easy just to go out and develop business credit in 30 days. It's all bullshit, excuse my French, but it's all bullshit. You're going to have to go out there and work hard. It's just like any other thing. You want to develop business credit, banks just don't hand you money. You have to prove yourself that you're worthy of having business credit and that you're responsible. So if you have really bad credit, you're not going to get nothing right now. But let me just begin by saying this, okay? Every situation is different. Nobody can tell you exactly. You might have a 500 credit score and get a $100,000 line of credit. I don't know. Maybe there's something that you did different that, I don't know about. So I don't want to speak for everyone. But the majority of people are going to have to work hard to develop the credit. So number one, you're going to go and you can go on the fast track and actually apply for a credit card through let's say PNC Bank, Chase, Citi cards. And what's going to happen is those credit cards will report to the business credit bureaus, which is usually Experian and Equifax. And from there on, after 6 months of credit history, you're going to start developing business credit under your tax ID number. When you apply for these cards, you're going to make sure that you have a tax ID number to apply under your tax ID number. They're still going to ask you for your personal Social Security number. They're going to run your credit. You cannot get a business credit card under, when you're first starting out, under American Express or a bank. just by without having personal credit. That's why I say if you want the fast track and you have good credit, go apply for 1 or 2 credit cards under your tax ID number. Spend on it, pay it off, and have a great track record. In over 6 or 7 months, you will develop business credit. You'll be able to get a lot more things. Now, if you don't have a credit card, if you don't have good credit, you have to do it the hard way. And the hard way is you're going to start getting trade lines. You need to develop trade lines that are strictly under the tax ID number where you do not add your social security number. Now, for government purposes, they sometimes will ask you for your social security number to verify who you are. But normally, if you apply for the right credit to the right places, they don't ask you for your, they're not going to ask, do a hard inquiry on your credit report. So number one, who do you go to? You're going to open up accounts at Quill, Uline. You're going to go to places, eventually you're going to be able to get better credit and go up to places like Amazon.com, corporate credit lines, Dell Financial. And I don't have my list in front of me, but there's a lot of them that I know of. And if you have questions, comment below and ask me. I'll be happy to help you out and tell you which companies to go to. And so once you develop these trade lines, it's not going to be 30 days, guys. It's going to take like 3, 4, 5 months for them to report it and show a track record. It takes a long time. So these guys out there, these gurus that are saying, hey, buy my $3,000 program and develop business credit, it's just in 30 days is not true. It's not going to happen. At least it didn't for me, and I've been in business a while. So those are the basic steps of developing business credit. We'll have another video that's more detailed in the future. But again, you're going to open up or organize an LLC or C corporation or whatever, an S corporation, whatever entity you choose. You need to open up a bank account. You need to have a separate tax ID number. Now, there's more details here. There's going to be other things such as you need to get a corporate address. You need to have a real corporate address, not a P.O. box and not your house. Eventually, you have to have a street or a commercial street address, and that's going to help you out tremendously. You are going to have a solid phone number. I suggest an 800 number. There's ways of you buy or purchase an 800 number in one of these companies, and you connect that to some type of phone system, and you use your 800 number as your number. And guys, please, when you're using email, you have to have a website. You got to get a business or corporate website with a real email. It has to be at yourcompany.com. So if you incorporate Widgets Incorporated, an email such as info@widgets.com, something like that. It has to be for like a regular business, like I own a real estate brokerage firm here. If you're a real estate agent or something, it's okay to have a Gmail account, things of that nature. But if you're trying to work with large banks and you're the corporate headquarters like we are, you got to have proper email such as info@widgets.com or so you have to have those, and you have to have a fax line. You want to get a regular fax line. All major big corporations still have fax lines. They have regular emails at their domain. So things of that nature. You just want to make sure that you look and are a legitimate corporation or LLC, and then you will start to develop business credit over time. So again, you're going to go to quill.com. You're going to start getting at least 5 trade lines. You need 5 trade lines for it to report to the credit bureaus. Now, there's one more step. It's called a DUNS number. You need to go to DunandBradstreet.com and apply for a DUNS number. It's very important. You have to have a DUNS file developed. Now, DUNS will try to sell you a $3,000 package. Do not fall for it. If you open up credit with the proper companies like Quill.com and others, Uline and Granger, all those companies will eventually report to Dun & Bradstreet on their own, and you don't have to worry about paying Dun & Bradstreet. Business credit, you can add your stuff to Dun & Bradstreet through those services, but it's not worth $3,500. You might as well spend it on stuff you need through credit, then pay it off, and develop your business credit. So you're going to have a DUNS number. You're going to apply as a government entity. Sometimes you can say you're doing a government contract and you need one quick, and they'll get one to you within I think 3 business days or something, or 7 business days. If you apply through the normal channel through Dun & Bradstreet, it is going to take 30 days to get your DUNS number. Once you have that, then you want to start applying. You don't want to apply for credit before the DUNS number. Get your DUNS number first, Dun & Bradstreet. Again, ask me, email me questions below or comments, and I can tell you exactly what to do on that. So anyways, you have a DUNS number, you have your tax ID number, you have your company form, you have all the proper entity information like email at the proper domain name. You have 800 numbers set up. You have to do all this. You have to. That's the only way you're going to get credit. You can't be halfway and expect banks to take you legitimately. Then you're going to have to at least have some revenue coming in. If you stick with one bank and you develop a relationship with one major bank and put all your money into that bank, it will help you over time. People think you have to spread out your money and develop relationships with 5 banks at once. They don't want to see that. Banks want to see that you have a lot of money in one account and that you're giving them a lot of deposits. When banks start seeing that you're giving them a lot of deposits, they're going to say, wow, there's a lot of deposits coming in. This guy is dedicated to our bank. Let's see what we can do for him by giving them credit, this company. So pick a bank and stick with one bank and work with one bank for at least the first year or two, and then explore other banks. So after all that, you're going to wait a few months. Dun & Bradstreet will start getting reports from Quill and all these other companies. By the way, when you order at Quill, order $50 plus. You don't want to order anything under $50. It will not report. It's got to be over $50 when you do buy something. So again, we're going to make an additional video here. There's so many more details that I don't have time to talk to you about on this video. But if you would like more, come back to my channel. I will have more videos on this soon. And again, we're going to get into other topics of business as well, business credit. We're going to talk about differences of LLCs versus corporations and all that stuff. So stay tuned. But I hope this gave you a little bit of information and insight on business credit. And I hope you have a great day and take care. Goodbye.